Hi guys, here's a chapter 10 study guide. Start off with reviewing this weird factor tree thing. This is actually the same thing you've been learning since like pre-K, except instead of having numbers here, you have words. It makes things so much more complicated, surprisingly. We're going to cover all the definitions and stuff like usual. So this is like a factor study tree. So here you'd have like whatever study you're doing. This is just a random one. Say something have to do with restaurants, sandwiches. Either have a cold sandwich or a hot sandwich. So these are your factors right here. Either one or the other. This restaurant that's making the study only sells these two sandwiches, or it's just interested in these two sandwiches. Then, next, you'll have the quote-unquote levels of this. So you have to realize, the word level it's kind of dependent on what you're looking at. So from this point of view, these would be our levels and our treatments at the same time. However, if we cut that out, like this, these would be our levels. This would be our factor. Okay? So it depends on what you're looking at. And again, you can add another factor, and this will become, factors as well. So it just kind of like progresses further. Okay? So you have either a cold or a hot sandwich, and you have white or whole wheat bread. Okay? So then, what is a treatment? Pretty simply, it's the last thing in line. It's the levels. That's confusing because if I say, what are the levels of this specific study, basically you'd not even look at these. You'd be looking at those two levels. So it's like the level is the one thing to the right. Factors would be like, I guess, the thing to the left. The treatment would be the thing all the way over. Okay? That's how many experiments you're doing, is how many treatments are you giving. So where you get that number from is simply, if you look, you have hot and cold, and then you have two of each. So instead of saying, well, you have two treatments here and then two of each, you can simply just count all these and you would be finding exactly how many times you have to test. Because this is the final group. The more you add, obviously, the larger the group's going to be, because you're adding two for each. Okay? So some of the definitions are, well, more importantly, the types of studies. The observational study, and you have a retrospective and a prospective. Basically, retrospective, you're looking into the past, getting numbers from the past. Prospective means you don't have some of the information, you're looking to the future. You're looking to see what will it be like in 20 years from now if I don't have that number. An experiment is it can be a little bit confusing with prospective, but an experiment is saying you have everything under your control. Observational is simply saying, like, they do their thing and we just watch. That's the easiest way to put it. They do their thing and we just watch. An experiment is saying if you don't have an option to do anything but the thing we're assigning you to do. Okay? You either take the red pill or the blue pill, not you get to choose. It's one or the other. Like, it's kind of that idea. Random? Oh, we'll talk about that later. You have a couple of different things. You have the controls, which is also seen as placebo. Again, like especially with medicine, placebo is very, very commonly used with medicine. And it's like you have the placebo is the control medicine, meaning that it doesn't have any effect on your body whatsoever, while the other medicine will. And that brings us to our next thing, which is blinding right here, single and double blinding. What is that? That's basically meaning who knows what pill you're taking? Who knows who's taking the real medicine or the fake medicine? Single blinding means the person getting the pill, so this is my pill and I want to eat it. I don't know what medicine I'm getting, but my doctor who's giving it to me probably does. If it doesn't tell you the doctor is blinded as well, then you have to assume that he's not. Okay? You just have to say single blinding, possibly double blinding, if you just know that I'm being blinded. However, if the doctor is given a whole bunch of pills and said, dish them out, the guy doesn't know which pill is which. So he's going to be handing me a pill which he doesn't even know what it is. That's going to be your double blinding. Means neither him nor me has an idea of what kind of medicine I'm going to be taking. Kind of sketchy, but again, if you use placebo in a medicinal definition, which is just a sugar pill, it doesn't have any effect on your body. So it gives you a baseline to work with. Okay? So what is this random thing right here? I don't know. The random thing is actually a pretty simple concept. If the experiment says that these individuals were selected at random, then it's a random experiment. If it doesn't even mention the word random, you have to assume nothing. You cannot say it's random. You say unspecified. So that's why that's there. And what kind of units are we using here? They're just like statistical units. It's like, the people who you're testing. It's the items you're testing. It's just whoever or whatever you're testing. Simple as that. In this case, I'm testing the people who like to eat these sandwiches. So the unit would be the people. Okay? Then we come down here. This is kind of confusing part. He did an awful job explaining this. This is blocks and matching. Simply said, blocks is taking a big group of people, say I have 100 people represented by this giant rectangle, and I need to separate them. So say I have men and women, okay? Left side men, right side women. So I cut that in half. That's creating two separate blocks out of this one big block. That's where the word blocking comes from. Then I want to separate them in half. Say I have born in America, not born in America. Born in America, not born in America. Quite simply, you're just separating the groups by similar reasoning. Blocking is the exact same thing as matching, except matching is only in an observational study. Blocking, conversely, is only in an experiment. You can only block in an experiment. So if I'm testing out people who were born in the United States or not born in the United States, well, guess what? That would be blocking because I'm setting them up in an experiment. Rather, if I'm just kind of observing them, the same thing would be called matching. Same definition. And there's this thing he never actually covered, and that's called random blocking. Basically, that's meaning I have this giant rectangle, and there's no particular order. Say there's names in this rectangle. It's not separated. It's just literally alphabetical, say, and I just cut it into 4 pieces. That's just, randomly. I'm not assigning them to groups by similar characteristics. I'm just doing this by random. I'm saying here's 100 people, let's cut them into 25 each, and it doesn't matter who's in the group. And then you have this other thing of confounding, which is kind of a stupid thing, but it's in the chapter. That's basically saying the 2 factors or 2 levels are attached to each other. Simply said, say the restaurant has awful whole wheat cold sandwiches, and it says that, like, don't order it, like on the website. That would be confounding because these 2 things are connected, saying that if you get a cold sandwich, very likely you are not getting a whole wheat sandwich. Say you don't even offer whole wheat sandwiches at this restaurant. And then you have a problem because those 2 are connected in a bad way. Say you only offer white wheat. Those 2 are connected. That's just confounding biases. 2 things are connected. You might not notice it. I don't know if it's going to be on the quiz or whatever or not. It just, know the definition. It means 2 things on this factor tree are somehow connected. You may or may not know. It's hard to notice because, it's like really like iffy connections. So just looking over everything, got the types of studies. Don't forget if it mentions the word random or not random. Just really important to look for this word if he's going to test us on it. Units, there are no units. It's just the people you're testing. Treatments, just remember, very last row. Factors, levels. The level is how many of each factor you have. So you have the cold factor and the hot factor. How many cold factors do I have? I have 2 of them. So those are your levels, and these are your factors. How many parts of the study do you have? Okay? Your control is the same thing as a placebo. Simply saying, I need a groundwork. I need a baseline. Okay? Blocks, just put people together in groups based on some common characteristics. Random blocking, just separate them into groups by, 25%, there you go, doesn't matter, we don't care who's in that group, okay? Confounding, again, 2 things are connected. Okay, guys, don't forget, now that the group chat's gone, it's really important that you either follow me on Instagram or you would subscribe to the channel because that's the only way you're going to get your information out. This is the only time I'm going to text this information out to you guys. It's pretty simple. The Instagram is just the Stats Messiah. That's all it is. Just straight up. That's all you do. Follow that. I'll be posting something every time I make a new video, so you guys know what's gonna happen. If you subscribe, you'll also see a little 1 on the side and be like, oh, well, he made another video. Again, last time I'm texting you.